Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about post redirect refresh pattern. Let's understand with the help of a diagram. Let's say you have a form as create to do and you have filled up your form and now you want to submit your form using the post method. Means you clicked on the submit button and it reaches up to the server. Now after this you have already got the response in the form of show list of to-dos. But later, when you refresh the page, your form is getting resubmitted. So you are getting the response twice. Means your form is getting submitted twice. This is called as post redirect refresh pattern. We need to avoid this. Now we are going to take an example also. You already have a form here and you are filling up some values. Now you click on the submit button. Your form is already submitted. Now let's say you are refreshing your page due to some reason. So it will ask you that resubmit the form. Now the point is that if you click on continue, your form will get resubmitted. Means your form will be submitted twice. This thing becomes very crucial in applications such as banking application where you have already done a transaction and you are refreshing your page. Your transaction might get done once again. So your transaction will be redone. So we have to avoid this kind of thing. This is called as post redirect refresh pattern. This can be avoided with the help of post redirect get pattern. ARG is a common pattern used to avoid duplicate form submission by redirecting the client to a different URL with the help of get request after a form has been successfully processed with the help of a post request. So what we require is that whenever the user is clicking on the submit button, all right, so form is submitted successfully. When the user is refreshing this page, it is actually putting up the get request once again. So what is required that instead of showing the same page or just resubmitting the form, we are just going to redirect the user to a different URL. So if the user is being redirected to a different URL, then we can avoid this refresh pattern and we can avoid resubmission of form. Let's see how we can resolve this problem. The code that I have written here, you can get this from lecture number 12. So this is already posted on YouTube. I'm already having one URL as well. We have to resolve the problem here only. So everything is fine here. If we are using a post method, then we are grabbing the values from the text box and we are simply getting the form submitted successfully, or else we are returning our form. Nice. Now we have to redirect our form. We have to write one small line here. We need to, let's say I'm commenting out this line and I'll be using return redirect. So within redirect, we have one compulsory parameter. We have to specify the name of the page where we want to redirect. Okay, so for this, you have to come to the URL and you have to mention another URL. Let's say I'll be using success. I'm using success as my URL where I want to redirect my page, redirect my form. Views.success. We'll be needing one function as well that we are going to create right after this. Name equals to, let's say I'm using success. Right, so we are required to now redirect our form to this specific URL. After this, come to views file and create a function. This function will help us to render the HTML page where we want to redirect. So we are going to write return render, and now we are supposed to render the HTML file. We don't have that HTML file, but we will be right now creating it. So what we are doing, we have created one function which will render this success.html page, and since we have already specified the name of the URL here, This success URL will be responsible for calling this function success and will render that page whose name is success. Now the same name we will be using here so that it gets redirected. Now let's create success.html file inside the templates success.html. All we need is a very simple message that your form is submitted successfully. Your form has been submitted successfully. That doesn't make a difference, whatever you write. Okay, so we have written this. Now we can check on the browser for the results. Let's see what we are getting. So when we click on the submit button, redirect is not defined. So what we have to do, we forgot to, so we have to get it from Django.shortcuts redirect. Nice. Let's try again. Your form has been submitted successfully. Now click on the refresh button. You see that we have already been redirected to this success URL, and we are not getting any notification, or it's not asking us that do you want to resubmit, or it's not resubmitting. We are just being redirected to a URL where we can see that a form is submitted successfully, and hence you can avoid resubmitting your forms. So that's all for now. In the upcoming lecture, we are going to start with models in Django.